More than one.
Two of everything, I guess.
Two of everything.
You should.
One.
Don't ask me that.
One
question.
is not enough.
One is enough when it comes to women, but two is enough when it comes to engines.
Okay.
Can't use that.
No. I think that's the intro right here. So I don't really know where to begin. I just know that everybody's been tagging me and telling me to check out this car because it's a 350Z or what's left of it.
It will always be a 350Z.
But it has two engines.
Yeah, the VQ wasn't quite cutting it, and I can't just have a front-wheel drive 4-cylinder Z, so just doubled it up and put one in the back.
Okay.
So it's front-wheel drive, it's rear-wheel drive, it's all-wheel drive, it's 4-wheel drive, it's 2x2, it's 4x4.
There's just a lot. So then, this used to be a drift car?
It started off as a drift car, yeah. I found the car wrecked. It was wrecked in the back left corner. We cut all that off, did the XO, and then we put some turbos on the VQ and just went to the track and started having fun. I accidentally flipped the car upside down last summer, and so at that point it needed a lot of work. So you spend 2 years of your life, all your money, so you build a race car for drifting, and let me tell you, it is a lot of fun. Take a look. So I just like, well, it's going to be tore apart. Why not just do what I've been wanting to do for a while and double it up?
I have to take kind of a deep breath.
It's not nearly as complicated as you think.
It looks pretty darn complicated. It's basically like a 350Z cut in half, and then the EXO cage. I love the fact that you kind of kept the Z shape. Yeah, including
we
doing
actually
like
lined it up there. We lined this car with my other Z, which was the parts car, when we were doing it to make sure that our lines, yeah, and the duckbill and everything.
It looks right. So then, does that mean the suspension pickup points are all the same?
Originally, yes. We tweaked them. We tweaked them for this setup. It still has the rear subframe. There's not a lot of room. Well, there's room in it for the differential, but since we were putting an engine where the diff sits, we had to widen the subframe. So yeah, it's all Z rear suspension. It's just in slightly different places to make it work.
It's still, the crazy thing to me is it still looks like a 350Z.
Yes.
That's the crazy thing.
That's the whole point. That was the goal.
But my goodness, is it so much wider?
It's a little wider.
What the heck? So these are the Viper ACR tires. Yep. These are pretty much like the widest.
It's the widest 19 you can get. And so I reached out to Kumo and they were more than willing to work with us, and we were super thankful for that.
Wait, are these? Oh, okay. These are the actual ACR ones. It actually says ACR on them.
Yeah.
My goodness. So then, in the way it sits right now, does it run?
Yeah, we drove it in here. Fire both engines and let's go.
So how does that work?
Come back Friday.
How does that work? You start one and then you start the other? How does it work?
Yeah. So there's two ECUs. There's two digital displays. There's 2 rows of buttons. I can turn one on, both on, however.
And then, what about the transmission? How does that work?
The transmission was the most important part, that it was identical. Because obviously when you're rolling, you don't want your drive ratios to be fighting against each other. So I literally took them both apart, went through counted every tooth on every gear, final drive, everything, and they're exactly the same. If you have a slightly different power output, that's not an issue. As much as it would be with the transmissions. So they're identical. So then,
I understand that. Is there anything connecting the front and rear drivetrain at all?
As far as the drivetrain, no. We control them. We can control them at the exact same time. The shifter will shift both at the exact same time. And then when you press the gas, obviously you've got 2 throttle cables to 2 throttle bodies, so that's exact. And then when you press the clutch, there's 2 master cylinders, so it's a pretty stiff clutch. When you press it in, you're actuating both clutches at the same time. But that's all mechanical stuff. It's not like the new GTR all-wheel drive system where it's a lot of wires and this and that.
Got it. So it's essentially 2 separate systems.
It's 2 front-wheel drive platforms.
If one completely stops working, you still have the other that's completely disconnected.
We don't have a spare tire. We have a spare engine.
Do you see a world where it would make sense for there's some kind of like torque tube or something to connect the two? No, it doesn't make sense for that.
Not in this application. I'm sure there probably is a way to do that or a need for that, but not in this, no.
Huh.
This is not a new idea. This has been done. Pikes Peak guys were doing it years and years ago. It's the poor man's all-wheel drive.
I wouldn't really say that poor, honestly. So then are they facing the same way exactly?
Exactly, yeah. Same
everything is
orientation.
exactly the same.
Everything, yeah.
Nothing is different.
And the cool thing about the K24, based off of where the axles come out of the transmission, this is right here is a true mid-engine setup because the majority of the engine is in front of the axles. And so obviously the same on the front. So we are a little bit heavy towards the front. So under launch, it evens out to 50-50. It's perfect setup.
It's so crazy to me that this works. So then,
this works too.
what is that for?
It's for our gooseneck trailer.
To tow a trailer?
Yeah, it has a gooseneck trailer that tows her own tires to the track.
Oh.
Or we've put the whole parts car has been on the trailer.
Oh.
Yeah.
But like, what's insane to me is that if there's any variance in like nothing, there's
No variance,
the tuning, the exhaust, everything, all of it is the same.
It's all the same, as close as we can get it to the same.
So what does it sound like?
Well, have you ever heard a lawnmower? It sounds like two of them.
Huh.
It's actually funny.
Does
though.
it kind of get in sync?
Well, that's what I was going to tell you. Everything is solid mounted. So when you run just one engine, it's a little chattery. It's like a massage chair. But when you run the second one, the vibrations kind of turn into a wave, and they kind of fluctuate through the car, and it becomes actually smoother with both engines on. It's a little trippy feeling.
What are you actually going to do with this car?
We're going to continue to have as much fun as possible. But as far as race, we'll probably get on the drag strip and see what it can do. I mean, theoretically, we should be able to run just the rear and drift. We can't run angle kit on the front because of front axles, but we'll figure it out. I mean, Ken was great at all-wheel drive drifting, so
yeah,
we'll channel him.
This would be great for like a crazy all-wheel drive drift.
Put some smaller tires on it for the track, and
yeah, I mean, because the beauty of this is you can make it as small or as big as you need.
Yeah.
You could make this off-road if you wanted to.
Well, that's what we did. The previous version, before the dual engine, we actually had two sets of fenders because we ran 33s on it, and we would take it off-road. There was a spot I really wanted to get some pictures of it, and I couldn't get there, so we put the 33s on, drove it to that spot, and then took the pictures.
I was just joking, but
you're
the real deal.
Years ago.
And this is on air right now.
It's always been on air. We've drifted competitively on air, always. Yeah, it's always been on air. I love it because when somebody will post a picture and people who don't understand what air is, they'll be like, oh, first speed bump, you're going to be dead. And I'm like, come on, guys. You think I'm going to drive around like that?
They're crazy.
They're crazy, yeah.
All right, so can we just take a look at the front? So then, two separate fuel tanks.
No.
One.
So the fuel system is kind of complex. It's one fuel cell with an inline pump that feeds a nuke surge tank, and inside the surge tank is two pumps that then go to each engine.
And where is that? Behind the seats?
Yeah. It's right over here. You've got the fuel tank is at the very back.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's in the back. Okay.
Here's the tank.
So one fuel tank.
One line, yeah, and this line feeds the surge tank is here. And in there's two fuel pumps there that then go to each engine individually.
And then
this is an inline pump.
Two separate oil coolers? Or?
No, these are radiators.
Oh, radiators,
yep.
Okay.
This one here and this one to the front. And there's two heat.
It has to make it all the way.
Yeah. Well, a lot of guys run their radiator, a lot of drift cars run the radiator in the back too. So, but then there's two heat exchangers up front because our intercooler systems are water to air. So this car actually has 4 water pumps. It has 2 electric water pumps for the engines and 2 water pumps for the intercooler.
What's also cool to me is how it's almost like the Z has a natural
That's
place,
the way Nissan designed
like
it.
Like a firewall?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Nissan didn't intend on anybody ever doing this, but it's
not exactly that.
It is so crazy looking. So the cage, all of this ties into the inside?
Yeah.
The exoskeleton?
The whole cage. At this point, it's basically a full tube chassis. It's probably more like a 95, but yeah, all of this through the whole car everything's connected to the cage now.
I just noticed something. You have 2 dashes.
Yeah, so this is the front engine, this is the rear engine. It's a digital display. It tells me everything. I know everything that's going on at all times.
Like, was there ever an instance where you needed the 2 dashes? Like maybe one got a little hotter than the other?
Well, no, there's 2 because this one's just giving me the information from the front engine ECU.
Yeah.
So it's like if there's temperature, it's just basically monitors everything. So.
How close does it run temperature-wise?
They're very close. Yeah,
really?
Plus or minus a few degrees. Yeah, they're almost exact. Yeah.
Even though
just
like,
depends
the
on
water
like,
has to...
when I'm engaging the fans or the water pumps, if I catch that at different times, because everything is manual. There's a button for everything. Nothing happens automatic, which is kind of cool. When you're driving it, you are in drive mode.
This shifter is crazy.
Yeah, I love.
This is insane. I can't believe. So it has, because normally it would just be one set.
Yeah,
right?
this is K-Tune's billet RSX shifter, and the only thing that we did, which was actually a funny conversation, when I reached out to them about what we needed, I said, guys, can I just get an extra one of these and an extra bit of this? And they're like, no one's ever asked for just those pieces. Why do you need them? And I sent them the render of the car. They're like, we'd like to help you out. And they sent me all kinds of stuff. But yeah, we machined this shaft here to get this on. We welded this guy on. So now when you shift it, it literally actuates the front cables and the rear cables exactly at the same time.
So then, are you able to run, let's say, just the one engine?
I can take these pins out. I can take these off or these. It takes a few minutes, obviously, but I can disconnect them and run just the front one, just the rear, or like it is here with both.
Got it.
Yeah.
It's interesting because if one needs to be bump started, I guess for whatever reason,
it can bump start itself.
The other engine is bump starting it.
I haven't tried that yet, but we will.
Wow, that is.
You get something in your head when you do things more from an artistic point of view or a creator perspective. You get something in your head, and you just can't sleep at night until you do it. So it's kind of where I was.
And this is really, honestly, the engine platform is the perfect thing to do this with. It would be so much more difficult to do like dual VQs or something.
Oh well, you'd have a very difficult time because the VQ is a longitudinal engine, and with the rear, it'd be difficult. You'd have to have transaxle. This is the way to go. So
then, with these engines, did you buy them together? Like
I bought both of these. These are JDM K24s. I got both of them from a local yard shop in the Bay Area. I think I paid $1,000 per engine. I mean, I've obviously got a lot more in them now, but just the basic engine, yeah. I mean, it's almost free Honda power.
And then with this setup, how much power does one engine make?
These guys right now are tuned at 500. These are stock bottom ends. We don't want to push them too hard. We could go higher than that, but once we figure out all the other weak links on the car and get them dialed in, then we'll delve into the engines, and the goal is 1,000 each.
Oh, yeah. So 2,000 horsepower.
Yeah. We got to take Bryce out in the 2J Lambo with the 2KZ.
I'm trying to just picture what it's like for you to just engage the gear. Because what transmission are you running on?
EP3 5 speeds. Good for boost.
So then, like when you clutch in, it's clutching in both.
Yeah.
And I
mean, this one's pulling half the weight, and that one's pushing the other half.
This is so cool.
Top speed stays the same because you're limited by gear ratio, but you just get there quicker.
So then, what about the transmission? Does it have a LSD in it?
Yeah, 2 LSDs, yeah. Well, one in each.
Well, yeah, one in each. Yeah. Okay. Because it's just acting like 2 front-wheel drive cars.
They really don't know. I mean, you can run one and it drives fine. You can run one or the other, and then with both at the same time, it's just easier.
I love it. So then, did you have to custom make all this stuff?
Yeah, we had to make all our fenders from scratch. So we had the foam and the clay and the fiberglass, and it was a process, but it was fun.
How much of the front is tube? It's all the way back to the firewall?
The tube frame runs all the way into the internal cage, so it's all supported from the tubing. The body doesn't come off like, maybe a true tube frame, but yeah. There's tubes everywhere. There's about 500 feet of tubing.
This is now the craziest Z I've ever seen. I've seen a lot of Zs.
Yeah, maybe. We're also the nicest Z owners.
I mean, yeah, you guys are very nice, but it's just, it is so ridiculous. I love it so much. I mean, I can't stress how much this is perfect for SEMA. This is like a good SEMA car.
I feel at home here. It's like we go to a lot of shows and stuff, and it's kind of like, but here it's like you look around, and I finally feel like this is my family. It's like crazy, 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 crazy. Yeah, I love it here.
I mean, do you just walk around and look at cool builds and say,
oh my God, yeah, let me
this
show
guy
you.
only has one engine.
We found lots
cool,
of dual,
bro.
There's lots of dual engine guys out here. I've found my favorite though. This is my favorite right here. Look at this guy.
There's an ice cream truck? Oh, the Winnebago?
I don't know what it is, but it's so cool. You look inside, you just feel like peace. Love that little guy.
I can't wait to see it run.
On Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're driving
That
out
would
of
be
here.
great.
We might have, where'd Jeremy go? We might have some fire. I'm not sure.
Fire from front and the back. I can't wait to see it. Because you don't actually run, do you run a hood up here?
No, no hood.
Okay.
I mean, I have one where I cut it out, but it's, just leave it off.
It's wild as it is.
Yeah.
For how wild it is, one of the things I have to say is the interior is very finished and very clean.
Yeah. Yeah, we wanted it. We just aluminum paneled everything. We wanted to kind of keep it sleek.
Oh, this is cool too. I forgot to point this out.
Yeah,
the headlights.
Yeah, so my headlight, this is actually from the very first design, the first build version. I was having a hard time getting the headlights in and lined up with everything, so I had made louvers back then. There's actually, the oil coolers are tucked in behind here.
That's what's really cool, because it's functional.
Yeah. It channels the air right through them. But yeah, that's kind of one of my distinct features, I guess.
I'm just speechless. I'm rarely speechless, but I'm actually
yeah, I'm sure
speechless.
you see a lot of cars. So.
That's the beauty about cars and car culture. You can travel the world, but you can never see another twin engine 350Z.
It's crazy. When we started this too, the goal wasn't ever to try and be anything. It was a vision I had. I wanted to do it. It wasn't trying to be something that it wasn't. And it's just the way it all come together. I think there's enough elements about it that are familiar with people so that they connect to it. It's not so different that you can't comprehend it. There's things about it. It's a stance car. Oh no, it's not. It's a drift car. Or now it's an EXO. There's all those things, and there's enough of that to like tell the story without it being too much. But it's just enough to like get your attention.
Perfect. Cool. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Larry.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to support us directly, go to LarryChenPrints.com. I print and sign every single one of these. This is the perfect gift, or it's the perfect piece of art for your wall.